sequences, but that are explicit formula. So we just talked about the recursive. Now we're going to talk about the explicit. So the explicit formula is, and it could be an A or a G. You can see it either way, but I'm going to change them to G's on mine. So if you could do the same. G sub n equals G sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. You will notice that the variable is the exponent, so it looks very similar to the exponential equation. So A's are the same things as G's. You might see it one way or the other. The EOC formula sheet has it as a G. In textbooks, it's probably an A. So don't get confused. It's just a different letter to represent that. Does everybody understand that? So I'm just changing it to G's since that's what I did for you guys in the last one. So we are going to use this formula to write this, and we're going to talk about how much easier it is to find that 10th term. Now, so what is my first term, Jana, for the first one? And what is happening each time, Brian?
Yeah, Brian.
It's getting multiplied by 2.
Good job, Brian. Oh my. I'm proud of you, Brian. You're really growing up, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian.
Okay, the only pieces you replace in this formula is the first term and the common ratio. Those are the only terms that you will replace. Guys, I know that you're... No one's leaving this room. Okay. Guys, I know that we're taking a lot of notes, but you need to focus. What is the equation for this one, Cassie? Can you please stop talking? Thank you. Times what? To the? It's n minus 1. Guys, I can hear you and it needs to stop. So the only pieces you replace are those two, the first term and the common ratio. So in recursive, to find the 10th term, we had to work through every single one of the previous terms to get there, correct? But with explicit, it's so much easier. If you're finding the 10th term, you're saying n equals 10. So all you have to do to find the 10th term is replace n with 10. What's 9 or 10 minus 1? 9. Okay, substitute that into your calculator. Do 8 times 2 to the 9th power. Nine is an exponent, yes. 10 minus 1 is the exponent. Yes, and I just simplified it.
I don't know what just happened to my cat.
That's because you didn't do it right. You need to type 8 times 2 to the 9th. You can't multiply them together first, yes. What did you type into your calculator? See, that's right. I don't know what you did.
I did like something, so I did like 64 times 2, and then you said to do it like 4,000.
Yeah, try to do that again. So you guys should have gotten 4,000. No, I'm sorry. 4,000 what?
4,096.
Try that again. So you do 2 to the 10th. Not to the 10th, to the 9th. And then multiply it by... No, it is 2, right? Is the base 2? Yeah. 2 to the 9th times, I don't know what happened there. Times what is the first term? All right. Connor, what is my first term?
125.
RC, what is happening each time?
Multiply by 1/5.
Yep. Multiply by 1/5. Justin Powers, give me the explicit form.
G of n 125. Divided by 1.
No, what goes in for R?
1/5.
1/5. It's always a multiplication. You can never say division. And to what power? You replace this with 125, you replace this with 1/5. What still needs to be in there? N minus 1. If we're finding the 10th term, n equals 10. So we substitute in 10 for n, which means we're really raising it to what power?
9.
You got scientific notation
What
again.
the heck?
Hey, language.
Oh, she did not. So it would be 0.000064. Is that right?
How about this? 4 times 10.
That means move the decimal place 5 to the left. If it's to the negative 5th, it means move it 5 to the left. So on your calculator, if you got that, that's fine too. But if it's like this, that just means move. It's negative, so go to the left and move it 5 to the left. So it'd add 4 zeros. What? It's a negative 5, right? Yeah, that just means move the decimal 5 to the left. Negative means left and 5, so you just move the decimal 5 to the left. I don't know. All right, next slide. This is very frustrating. Guys, I say this every day to you guys. It is ridiculous. During notes, you should not be talking. There's a reason why a lot of you are confused. Do you understand me? Okay. So, how many stars are in my first picture? How many in the second?
2.
Third?
3.
How many in the fourth?
6.
Okay. So, what is the pattern, Blaine?
Multiply by 2.
What is the explicit formula here? So, Jordan, go ahead and tell me.
It's G sub n, right?
Yeah, why am I typing that? G sub n equals?
Equals 1 times 2, right?
1 times 2 to the...
N minus 1 power.
Yep, and we'll keep going from here. So, we wrote our explicit formula. Shh. We wrote our explicit formula before you left. Hey!
It's a fudge.
The first term is 1. The common ratio is 2, and it's raised to the n minus 1. So if we're finding the 10th term, that means n is 10. So we substitute in 10,
Oh, hey, Brian.
which means we're raising it to an exponent of... Okay, so go ahead and substitute that into your calculators and see what you get out. Guys, it's not time to joke around. I will turn the lights on if you aren't paying attention.
That's a pretty good kit.
Okay, so what did you get, Grace, when you substituted in 10 and you raised 2 to the 9th power? Did anybody else get 512?
I did.
So do you guys see how much easier it is to use the explicit formula than the recursive formula? The explicit formula you can just sub in. The explicit you can sub in. The recursive you have to keep finding the previous term, which is difficult. Stop talking. Connor, what's your question?
Oh, never mind. Got rid of it.
Got rid of what?
No. So, like,
I didn't get rid of it. It's up here.
oh, the 10 next to the G, does that, matter at all?
That just means the 10th term.
Okay, I didn't know if it was...
It does matter. It's telling you it's the 10th term.
So you have to...
When it's n, no, it's not multiplication. It's just saying the 10th term.
Okay, so it's just there to, show you
To show you what term you're finding.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How many clouds are in the first picture?
Clout.
Good. How many clouds are in the next picture?
6.
How many are in the one there?
2.
Okay. So, Kaylee, your headphones should not be in.
Excuse me.
You of all people. I've yelled at almost every single one of you that have said something to her.
What, clout? Oh.
No. Stop talking.
I need Dayquil.
Hey, Josh, what is the pattern? You're not dividing by half, and you never divide with it. If it's not a half still, but you are multiplying. Yes, multiply by what? Multiply by 1/3. Bless you. I don't know yet. Mike, give me the geometric formula. The geometric explicit formula. What are you saying? The formula is G sub n equals G sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, that's okay. 18 times what?
1/3.
To the what power? Stop telling him the answers if you are. Okay.
N minus 1.
If we're finding the ninth term, what do we know? Yes, Riley. All right, plug in 10. 9 minus 1 is?
8.
So raise that to the 8th power in your calculator.
Oh, Miss Brady, can I have an extra final review packet? No. At lunch, my friends put a piece of cheese in it. I need a new one.
It's true, I'm a witness, but I didn't do it.
I need a new
I'll get you one at the end of the hour.
Oh, thank you.
What is my ninth term? Shh. Go ahead, Jordan.
This is decimal.
Go ahead.
0.0001.
How many zeros was that? 0.00?
0.
3 of them after the decimal?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's 1, and then a whole bunch of other numbers. Do you need them?
Give me a few of them.
5, 2, 4, 1, 6.
So we'll do 1, 5.
That is not what I got.
Yeah, they got different numbers. Did you get 0.027? Did you get 0.027? Did anybody else get that? What did you get?
I got a fraction. So did I.
Well, divide it real quick and see if it's 0.0027 with a lot of other numbers after it.
Yep.
I got 0.0027.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just rounding that. Okay, so next one. At 1, how many is there?
1.
1. At 2, how many is there? At 3, what is it?
4.
At 4, it is.
8.
And then it's a.
16.
Wait.
36.
So.
I think it says 1. 1 day now.
Oh, that should be 2. It's just written wrong. Good job with catching that though.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't
This should say 2 here, not 1. This has a 1 here, but it's 2 comma that number. So I don't know how it said
I
that.
got confused.
Okay, Justin Powers. What is the pattern?
Down by a half.
Which means you multiply by a half. We don't say down by a half. We say multiply.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. What is the formula? Jana, what is the formula? Oh, what is the recursive formula, guys? So that's what you're doing, Jana. So the other note packet.
What they're supposed to do.
Oh, yeah.
This homework's not.
Why not? Because you won't take your homework. Because you won't take your note packet out to plug in numbers to a formula.
Man, Justin, I
You need to just take it out.
out.
We are taking notes for an hour and a half. Justin, stop complaining. You didn't even have math lab today, so stop. So literally stop complaining because you've been basically been like this the whole hour, and I can't handle it anymore. What'd you get for your recursive?
They got 1 equals 1, and then G sub n equals 1 times n minus.
It's not 1. What are we multiplying by each time? We're not multiplying by 1. We're multiplying. So that is your recursive. Yeah, somebody's phone is going off.
You don't hear that?
It's just somebody's phone. Quiet. Who cares?
Take it off.
What's your phone?
It might be. Is it from my desk? It should be on silent, so I don't know why it would be.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, whoa. Wait, what?
Do you guys not understand that I'm mad at you? Like, what don't you get about me talking to you every day for the last week about your behavior? I am not a teacher that likes to write kids up, but if I have to start, I will. Do you understand me? We need to start paying attention. I understand that writing notes for a whole hour is difficult. I have been teaching all day. In my geometry classes, I went bell to bell as well. It is just as exhausting for me. Do you understand that? I get it. I've been in your shoes before. It is not fun. I understand that. But you guys need to start focusing. We probably would have been done with all of these notes by now if you guys would not talk. Do you get that? It takes longer in this class than any of my other classes because you guys will not stop talking. Please just stop until I'm done and then you can work. Do you get that too? I don't understand what you guys don't get about it. All right, the explicit formula. Kaylee, what is the explicit formula?
So G7 equals 1, and then G7, oh wait, yeah, 1 times 1/2, and minus 1.
Good. And so, if you're finding your seventh term, does it make more sense to use the explicit or the recursive form? Explicit, because you can just substitute in 7. So we're going to substitute in 7. So raise that to the 6th power. Brian, did you raise it to the 6th power yet?
No.
What'd you get?
1/64.
1/64. Good. All right, questions there? Okay, so let's do the next one. We're just going to do the first 2 examples on this one. So how could we find the first term? What could we do? What could we do to find the first term in this one? Make n1. So for the first term, you make n1. So you're going to do 1/2 times 4 to the 1 minus 1, but 1 minus 1 is 0. So type that into your calculators.
Should we put 0?
Yes, so you go 1/2 times 4 to the 0 power, which is, should be 1/2. Did you get that?
Yeah.
So what do we do to find the second term?
Make it be 2.
Change the number to 2. 2 minus 1 is? Okay. When you get the answer, you can say it out loud.
2.
Did anybody else get 2?
I did.
Perfect. Then we raise it to the, what do we substitute in for n next?
3.
3, because we're finding the third term, so you're raising it to the 2nd power.
8.
So if you look at this, this is your starting, right? And what are we doing each time? We're multiplying by 4. 8 times 4 is?
32.
Let's see if that works again. So we're assuming that what's going to be our first term? And for the next one? 500. Let's see if that's true. What should we substitute in first?
500. No, 0. Wait,
Not 0, but 1. Okay, so go ahead and do 1 minus 1, which is actually 0. So go ahead and do that and tell me what number you get out.
500.
Is it 500? Did you try it yet?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying it?
It is.
You're smirking. It's 500. Okay, what are we going to assume the next term will be then?
100.
Because you multiply by 1/5, right? So see if that's right. What should we substitute in for n? 2 minus 1 is?
1.
Okay, is it 100 like we guessed?
Yes.
Did you guys do it in your calculators?
Yes.
Okay, what are we going to assume the next one would be then?
20.
Okay, so try substituting in the number 3.
Yes.
Did you guys already do all of these?
Yeah.
And then 5.
5.
4. Because you're dividing by 5. Okay, so what questions do you guys have there? Okay, let's move on to the next one then. Are these the last two?
No.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I asked if you were doing
Okay, we're going to do A first, and then we will talk about the other ones. So, what is the pattern that's happening in A? Connor.
A multiplied by a 4.
Okay, what is my recursive, RC? So that's the other note packet.
The first term is 16.
Okay.
1 equals 16. G of n equals 1/4 times G of n minus 1.
Good. And Mike, what is my explicit form? You only replace these two pieces.
So 16
Well, tell me, read it off. So start with
GN
equals
16
times
1/4
to the,
G.
no?
And what?
You replace this, what's left?
And then 4.
Good. So which form is easier to find the 7th term in? Explicit. So we are going to substitute in 7, which means we're raising it to what power? And tell me what you get out of that one. It's going to be a large number.
3.90625 times 10 to the negative third power.
1 over what? 256. Is that what you guys got too? Yeah. Does that make sense? Let me just make sure of that. Do 1/16 times, yeah, that does make sense, because that would be 64. Never mind. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Multiple choice. Listen to me about the multiple choice. Cover up your answers. Cover up your answers and try to write this first. So we're covering them up. If you were to write the explicit form for this one, Alyssa, what would you tell me without the A, B, C, D? G sub n would be? Yeah, 1. To the what? Which one of those looks like this here? C does not. It starts with a 1/2. A does. Do we need this 1 out front?
No.
No, and it just doesn't have the equal sign. So it's easier if you guys stop taking multiple choice as a guessing game. You guys need to start doing the problem first and then looking at the answers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think sometimes you guys will look at the answers first and then try to make an educated guess, and it tends to be wrong then. Not always, but sometimes. You know what I mean? So try to do the problem first. So, Emma, if I had you guys just write this first without looking at any of these, what would you tell me that would be?
G of n equals 40 times.
What is it doing each time?
Multiplying by.
If you need to, put in your calculator 10 over 40. Yep. To the what?
N minus 1.
Which one of those is that, Emma?
C.
Yep. So stop taking that as a guessing game. Do you guys understand me?
Yes.
Take it as a guessing game. I just suck.
What?
I did take it as a guessing game. I just suck at math.
No, you don't. You're doing fine. I don't know why you keep saying that. All right, match the appropriate expressions. So what I would do here first is just substitute in 1. So if I do 4 to the 1 minus 1, that's 4 to the 0. What's 4 to the 0?
1.
Okay, so it could either be 2 or 3, right? Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So then I would do 4 to the first power. So 4 to the 1 minus 1. I already did. 2 minus 1 is 4 to the first. What's 4 to the first?
4.
So which one is that?
3.
Okay. Again, I would plug in the 0 power or the first power first. 1 minus 1 is 0. So do 1/2 times 2 to the 0 power. And tell me what you get. What? Okay, just wait. What is that? 1/2 times 2 to the 0 is? Which means that one is?
4.
Good job. Then do 2 times 1/4 to the 1 minus 1, which is to the 0 power. What is that? It's 2. So that goes with that one, which automatically puts. All right. Oh, goodness. You're kicking me again.